So let's take a quick look of the last 6 problems of the practice test. 19 and 20 are going to be the word problems. They are not that bad. The only thing that you need to know about word problems is that you gotta be able to understand which is the important information and which is the one that you don't need to know, so you can just disregard that information. For example, on 19, important here is to know that the shape is going to be a rectangle. You need to know that. Also that she has 48 feet of fencing, and then we're going to express the length. The length has x feet long. That's all you need to know for 19. So how do we do that? You should know that the perimeter of the rectangle is expressed as 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Now, since we said that the length is going to be expressed as x, it goes like 2x plus 2 width equals the perimeter. Now, you have two variables here. You have x and you have w. So you cannot work if you have two at the same time. So you will have to solve for w. If you do that, it goes like this. 2x plus 2w equals 48. Then you're gonna subtract 2x from both sides, and then you're gonna divide both sides by 2. At the end, w equals 24 minus x. Now, you're going to replace w, which is 24 minus x, you're going to replace it on this formula, which ax equals x times w, which turns to be the formula for the area of the rectangle. So, on this formula, we're going to replace w by this. You see it? So we're going to replace w by this value. So when you get here, all you have to do is you gotta distribute. So x times 24 and then x times negative x. At the end, it's gonna be 8 of x equals 24x minus x squared. That's how you do number 19. So you need to know the perimeter of the rectangle, and you also need to know the formula of the area of the rectangle. Those are the two pieces of information that you need to know. Now for 20, again, the most important part here is knowing that the length is 9x, and then the shape is going to be a square. That's all you need to know. The length is 9x and the shape is going to be a square. So we know that the length is 9x. We know with the square has 4 sides. So if a square has 4 sides, we're gonna divide that length by 4, and then the formula of the area of the square is a squared, or side times side, which is the same as a of x equals 9x over 4 squared. And when you do that, all you have to do is you have to square every single term that you have. So 9 squared is the same as 81, x squared is the same as x squared, and 4 squared is 16. So that's how you do number 20. '21 and 22 are very similar to the ones that we did before on the first video, but let me go over that. So f times g will be the same as f times g of x is the same as 2x plus 2 and 5x minus 1, and then you have to FOIL. So 2x times 5x, 2x times negative 1, and then 2 times 5x and 2 times negative 1. After you do all the FOILing and you do all the procedure, you will end up with 10x squared minus ax minus 2. If you have to find the domain, again, there is no restriction, so there is no fractions, there is no square and any radicand here. So since you don't have any restriction, you know the domain is going to be all real numbers. For 22, it's going to be different. So this time we have f of g, f over g. So if we go back here, we know this is the setup. So f over g of x, you will put f of x on top of g of x. We correct this. There you go. So it will go like this. You will put your f of x, which is 5x plus 1, up here, and then you will put g of x, which is 3x minus 5, you will put it down here. Now, we have to find the domain. When you have a fraction, remember that the domain is given by what you have down here. So what you have up here is not as important as what you have down here. So if you want to find the domain of a fraction, or I should call it a rational expression, then all you have to look is at the bottom here. So it will goes like this: 3x minus 5 cannot equal 0. Again, why? Because you don't want to have a 0 down here. It's okay if you have a 0 up here, but if you have something being divided by 0, meaning that you have a 0 down here, that is not right. So we don't want that to happen. So that's why we're gonna set it not equal to 0. Then you will add 5 to both sides, and then you will divide by 3. So x cannot be, I forgot this. X cannot be 5 over 3. And this is how you give the domain as a final answer. So now 23 and 24. If you have to prove algebraically whether they are even, odd, or neither, all you have to do is just replace x by negative x on both cases, and that's how you do it. So let's do number 3 first. So f of negative x equals negative 5 minus 4x minus x raised to the 4th power minus x squared. So this x has an even exponent, and then this one also has an even exponent here. So if they both have an even exponent, that means that the x is going to be positive at the end. So that negative here, that negative goes away, and this negative also goes away here. So based on this, we know that f of negative x is the same as f of x. And again, remember that even means that there is symmetry about the y-axis. So if you wanna know whether the graph is even, odd, or neither, all you have to do is just replace x by negative x. And then 24 would be this: the cube root of negative x. When you do that, you will see that any number that you find is the cube root, if that number is negative, at the end, the final result, it's also gonna be negative. So right away you can tell that the cube root of any given number who is negative is gonna be a negative number at the end. So that function is gonna be odd. So with that, guys, we're done with the practice test. I hope you guys find this video helpful, and always contact me if you need any more help.